3, 2, 1. You like jazz? That's a quote from
Classic.
the Minecraft movie. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast.
I'm Alex from Aichi, and I'm a bee!
Yep.
I'm Jake from Man Carrying Thing, and do you like jazz? Sorry, I didn't have another one.
But there's so many to choose from. You could have just thought of another one quickly.
I don't know. There's a lot of jokes about cousins and having relationships with your cousins in that movie. Surprisingly, so
Yeah, way more incest humor than I remember.
more than surprising amount.
Yeah. We all saw the a Minecraft movie, and when I say we all saw it, I mean Jake and Alex paid money to see it, and I imagined at home what the experience would be, and I think it's going to be about the same. So yeah, we can all talk about it and probably have the same amount of context.
Yeah, people were mad at you for reviewing stuff without finishing it. Now let's see how you review things without even watching it.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a number rating and everything.
I was hoping you were just going to pretend to have seen it and then reveal it at the end.
Oh, no.
I didn't even watch this.
No, yeah, that would be funny. Next time. There will be another Minecraft type movie. Don't worry.
Roblox.
We'll be able to do that again.
You say you'd have a similar experience at home, but that's kind of what pushed me over the edge to seeing it in the theater, because I was like, this is the most enthused I've seen general audiences in a movie probably since like Avengers Endgame, as sad as that is to say. Like the theater was packed. So many people were there. Is
it genuine enthusiasm or is it cynical, ironic enthusiasm? Is it just for the fucking TikTok reel?
That's the question.
Or is it like they want to say chicken jockey because it's such a good line?
I think it's a perfect combination, actually, because a lot of my screening, I went like in the middle of the day on a Sunday for the movie madness, like cheaper ticket moment, and it was like absolutely packed. There was like a couple without a kid that sat next to me, but there were also obviously a bunch of kids in there who were like, every time a Minecraft reference came on screen, they were like telling their dad like, "That's a creeper," and like enjoying it, I guess, earnestly. But also, I took a picture of it as I was going into the screening. There was a big warning sign taped to the door in big text saying, "No disruptions during showings. Shouting, excessive clapping, or taking part in disruptive TikTok trends will not be tolerated. You may be asked to leave, or the police may be called. Everyone deserves to enjoy the film. Thank you." And there was a warning like after the ads finished too, saying, "Don't be a dick." And of course these videos are like all over the internet of people bringing literal chickens into screenings and like setting fireworks off, and I was kind of expecting like honestly more of a reaction, but then I remembered it's like
the UK,
Britain, and we're quite understated. So a lot of the clips are obviously from America, where like cheering and clapping is kind of
lawless,
a lot more expected in the movie theater. So I didn't really experience that outside of like, I don't know, some of the kids were actually bored, unless there was like a crazy action scene happening. There was lots of just sort of children exclaiming to their parents about like unrelated things to do with the movie, and I don't know, it was fine by me. It's not like I was being distracted by anything of quality. So yeah. It's
so shocking how different the audiences are in the UK compared to the US. I only saw one movie. I saw Spider-Man No Way Home when it came out, and I was in London when we saw it. Packed crowd, everyone excited to see it. All the big moments, they're just like, ooh.
That's exactly what it's like.
Oh,
like
my goodness.
It's the same for Avengers Endgame. Like the biggest moment in it is like one or two people went like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Americans clap when like a fucking plane lands, so you know.
Which you should, because it's a marvel of modern science. Let's be real.
Ooh, nice.
I've actually been in a lot of like screenings in the US for movies that have nothing to do with fan culture, nothing to do with Marvel, fucking Minecraft, anything. A good amount of people will just clap at the end if they just enjoyed the movie.
Sure.
You know? Which is interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's sweet. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's a showcase of your experience to everyone else around you who didn't ask.
When I see a good movie, I just stand up and salute for 5 minutes straight.
Oh yeah. That's what when I see President Trump, that's what I do.
Oh, dear.
In any image on the internet, I take 5 minutes out of my day. Scroll through X. It's a full commitment for the whole day. There's so many pictures there.
Sure. So, Adam, what did you think of the Minecraft movie as someone who did not see it?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think I experienced it in the best way possible by not watching it. I think that was the ideal way that the artist intended it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think that my version, the way that I watched it, I think was the best way to do it.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
It was the most efficient way, too.
Saved money and time, yeah. I mean, I saw it in a pretty full theater, but it was the preview night. I think it was like before the wave happened of people going, oh shit, people, you can just like be crazy in this movie. I think that's a lot of it. Kids are finding out you can just be crazy in this movie. It's an appropriate, like a lot of the kids who are of the age to be perfect for this movie don't have any memories. Like I'm realizing they probably don't have any memories of seeing a movie before COVID, and I don't think there's been any movie, like Marvel hasn't had any big movies that have like had tons of cheering and stuff, except for like No Way Home, but that was a while ago, so it's like, here's a moment for kids to be kids and to be stupid and cheer. And it's so depressing because it's like, guys, we're cheering over this, like, like they're turning something of such low quality to be like this big moment just because we have nothing. We have nothing like that's fun or exciting for these audiences of young kids.
I'm of the mindset that the reason why Jack Black was hired for the role, or like a big part of it, is because he can say those lines in a way where just the inflection in his voice is kind of like beckoning you to go crazy and participate. Like, come on, we've seen the trailer. Chicken jockey. Like, it's like he's talking in front of a crowd expecting audience applause, right? And I think maybe that's what studios
He says every line the same way. Yeah.
Exactly. He says every line exactly like that.
Like even the normal lines.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that the studio execs want people to be participating in a way where it generates social media marketing, free marketing for them.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really think like there was a big movement against this movie when the first trailers came out. Everyone was hating it and joking about it. I feel like it was a huge laughing stock. People are like, this is going to be terrible. And then all of a sudden, it's like maybe that was a marketing push of like trying to get people to be like, oh, it's bad, but it's good. We can actually, like let's make it a midnight screening. Let's just go crazy with it,
I mean, this exact same thing happened with the Mario movie, where people were like, "Oh, Chris Pratt,"
right? Right.
And then you'd say the exact same thing 2 weeks later, and people would be like, "Why can't you just enjoy things?" Right?
Yes. I haven't seen a lot of that.
Yeah, at least with the Mario movie though, it didn't look as bad as Minecraft, movie. No. I don't think
it wasn't as bad.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't ultimately matter because I guess we've taught them the lesson now that we can just make it bad on purpose and not try and not care, and the rewards will be reaped.
I mean, yeah, exactly. The name Minecraft is there. That's all you need. What I hate
is that I feel like there's a lot of people now saying like this is a win for movies. Like this is a good thing. It's not like a Marvel thing. Like young people are coming out to have fun at the movies. And like, I'm all for young people going out and having fun at the movies, but let's be real. Like this is a huge IP. I think a lot of people were just underrating how big Minecraft is. And like anyone who knows Minecraft is like, yeah, that's going to make a shit ton of money because every kid has played Minecraft. So of course it's going to make money regardless of whether it's good or bad. The fact that people have turned it into like this meme thing, like I guess adds some stuff to it. But I think there's a lot of older people who are like, wow, who knew this would be such a big thing? It's like, yeah, come on. It makes sense.
It's fucking Minecraft.
It's IP. It's huge IP.
That's the majority of the issue that I have with this film in the landscape of movies. I understand that there's like now this almost kind of like pushback against the criticism of Minecraft movie. You'll see a lot of people respond like, these critics, when people enjoy a movie that's just fun and not some 3-hour art house metaphor or whatever. And all I'm thinking is like, okay, it's not that it's an issue that people aren't watching some sort of avant-garde, interpretive piece of cinema, right? Like, obviously, this is a movie for kids, and many adults are seeing it as well. My issue is that we are rewarding a system which we're already knee-deep in, right? This isn't even a new thing. We are rewarding a system where studios are going, oh, we are correct in thinking that it doesn't matter what anything artistic is like in the movie. It's just who is the lead actor and what's the IP title. Mm-hmm. And we're rewarding that system because nobody's seeing the Minecraft movie for any other reason than it's the Minecraft movie. Like nobody's seeing it because of the cinematography. Nobody's seeing it because of the acting. Nobody's seeing it because of the story, right? That it's literally just, it's the IP. Mm-hmm. And even if Jack Black wasn't in it, the IP still would have made money,
and
right?
Yeah, so even beyond that, like the irony poisoning like level of it, where people are waiting for moments from the movie that they already know. So it's like the IP celebration thing, but even a layer deeper. It's not just like, oh, it's a creeper. It's that thing I saw on TikTok. Yeah. Like when the warning popped up on the screen that the woman sat next to me like whispered to her boyfriend, "Oh, chicken jockey." And it's like the film hasn't even started, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
I know what a chicken jockey is.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, that was kind of the issue I was having with this movie. It felt like a weird, I don't know, I felt like it was like radicalizing me, this experience. It was so surreal.
You're black-pilled.
Like once from the second I sat down, I was like, it was like this dystopian, weird, like Black Mirror thing. It was the new season of Black Mirror. I felt like I was in a Black Mirror episode where like the ads start playing and it's all these like Royal Navy and Royal Marine ads like being screened to these drooling 5-year-old kids. Nice. And then it shows a Lilo and Stitch trailer. Then it shows a How to Train Your Dragon trailer. Then it shows a Jurassic Park trailer. And it's like, what, have I just been like whipped back in time to like my childhood? This is like that Frank Zappa quote about nostalgia, just like times 1,000. I just can't believe it. And then the film starts, and then it's a string of just these like disparate random Minecraft references. Like the script is nothing about it is important.
Exactly.
It is just like this weird. The irony poisoning is so deep. I admit, I'll put my hand up and say I love like ironically enjoying movies, but usually with the caveat being that it's only really funny to me when the film like is a flop in some form. Like Morbius is the obvious recent example where that became like a huge meme online. And it was funny in part because they tried to capitalize on it and it didn't work. Whereas here it's actually like really working in their favor and they're being trained to say, cool, right, now we can really just maximize this IP thing, just have funny actors, have Jason Momoa say a funny thing. You're not for 1 second thinking that they're even characters on screen. It's literally just Jack Black, Jason Momoa, and a few others prancing around, and they attempt jokes with this. And what really bugs me though is that it does attempt this kind of like sincerity at the heart of it, this like veneer of creativity, like in a Lego movie kind of way.
With that script.
Yeah, exactly. It's a world where your imagination is completely untapped and you can do whatever your mind can come up with, and that's what it's about. Isn't that right, little boy? Who, you know. And it's like, no, come on, man. Like we did have the Lego movie over a decade ago now, which looked like a soulless like IP movie in the same way, but like was well written and well directed and had like great set pieces and funny jokes and was made for $60 million instead of this $150 million. But in that movie, you could see where the 60 million went. In this, it's like, this is what $100 million looks like. Like, oh my god,
looked like an SNL parody of a video game movie. Yeah.
It's either an SNL parody or just like completely CG, just mess of like just weightless goo just flying around in a way where it's like, well, why didn't you just make this animated? You could have made it for a lot less, probably.
Because then Jack Black and Jason Momoa would just be voices and not the guy. Then it wouldn't be real.
Was I going crazy in the theater? Because it felt like Jason Momoa was just doing a Jack Black impression.
Oh, cool.
It felt like they were both trying to do the same type of character.
They were trying to out Jack Black each other.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it did. And I guess we didn't mention the director's Jared Hess, known for Napoleon Dynamite and was it Nacho Libre, which also had Jack Black in it like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And it's you can tell his voice is in there somewhere with these weird like references to Napoleon Dynamite with the tater tots in the pocket and all these weird kind of characters. But it's kind of like Napoleon Dynamite without any of the like indie movie tinge on it. Like it's all of that taken out, and it's a big mega Hollywood production, over $100 million budget. So it kind of just takes that sincerity of that weird quirky film and the things that make that cool about it away, and then like adding that kind of Detective Pikachu style CG where everything's like overly detailed and like gross looking and freaky for some reason.
Yeah, it's so weird. It was so weird. Yeah, because they're doing live action.
Yeah, even tried to do cuteness, right?
Yeah, because it's like, why? Because they're doing live action, then like the stuff they're interacting with has to have like an extra level of detail to make it seem like they're in a somewhat livable environment. So yeah, like the villagers have like these horrifying giant heads that are just like flesh and meat, and it's just like so odd and off-putting, just very distracting. But like in terms of the director's vision, like the stuff in there that people are pointing out for the most part are like, oh yeah, like the tater tots and there's a llama and it's like Napoleon Dynamite. I'm like, those are Easter eggs. That's not like stylistically. I really didn't see anything similar because the tone, this movie has like what, 10 writers? Like I think somewhere close to that, like credited in the movie. It's like okay, if they let Jared Hess do anything, like that's great. But this movie was made by a committee in a boardroom going, okay, how much profit can we get? What kind of toys can we make?
Or Chat GPT.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they 10 guys working with Chat GPT to try to get the right prompt. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just funny that exactly like you were saying, Alex, this movie's trying to celebrate creativity, and it's like, that kid is like a B plot in his own movie. He's like, like once Jack Black is in there, that's just like, okay, yeah, there's this kid who's like bullied because he's creative. Like no one's mad that you're creative. Like, I don't know.
They're mad because you suck.
Yeah, you suck and you're annoying. And no, I just felt really down after watching it. My theater, like they weren't reacting to anything. It was just there was an old man sitting in front of me who was like taking off his socks in the middle. Like, I'm like, what? So it was like an off-putting thing. And then I saw videos of people being like, yeah, everyone's having fun. And it seems like a lot of the viewers who go into a theater and it's like a party and they see joy on the kids' faces and they're like having a live interactive moment in the theater. Like I can see how that would weight how you view it. Like, oh yeah, this is harmless fun, whatever. This is cool. But for me, I'm just like, okay, maybe the irony of people celebrating like Madam Web and Morbius, that felt way more sincere because they aren't like those movies. Exactly, they failed. They were huge flops. So it's not like, oh, let's ironically make them billion-dollar movies. This movie's like, why are we shilling for these movies? Like, what is the joy and the irony of like, oh, let's make these moments super like fun and ironic when it's like, yeah, they're making $1 billion and they're going to make 5 sequels. And I really think that over time, people will look back at this phenomenon and be kind of like, well, it's kind of embarrassing. what were we all on back then?
Also, like it's there's something kind of disheartening about this film, knowing that it's not just, oh, what a terrible mistake they made, but oh, this is setting a new standard that every studio executive is going to use as a blueprint for the next 5 years. And everything will be trying to emulate the success of this, because how long has it been out, right? Like it's less than a month. It's already at 550 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Less than 2 weeks.
It's probably going to be the movie event of the year.
It's been less than 2 weeks. It's already at $500 million.
Yeah. So all these big companies are going to just look at, oh, what like IPs do we own? How can we Minecraft movie this? How can we
exactly
do that? You know,
exactly,
because most of it is just like CG slop with like, I don't know, you pay a small handful of actors to stand on a green screen and do their thing. And yeah, that's why I find it hard to like get past, for multiple reasons. The just have fun things. It's like, this is like WB and Microsoft, you know, like some of the biggest like megacorps in the world that you're like clapping on and celebrating and encouraging this shit from. But then like, sure, make like an irreverent, like ironic Minecraft movie, but actually do that. It doesn't though, at the end of the day. Like it's still attempts to be a movie with like, oh, that we're going for the heartfelt moment now. Like we got to have that moment where they have an argument in this way.
Yes,
we got to do this thing. That we got to plug in the formula. It's not just endless jokes. Like they try and do the like Lego movie having a heart in the center of it type thing, but it's like just be a dumb, pointless comedy if that's what you're going to be, but it just can't do it. It's so insanely lazy and really boring as a result. Like I laughed once, like in earnest, and it was just because of I don't know if it was actually in earnest or me just kind of like snapping in that moment. But Jack Black, he says something along the lines of, "Now we must mine, then we must craft," or whatever, something like that. And that's just like the level of writing that we're talking about here.
I laughed at one moment that was with the knife scene at the end, when the bad guy's trying to stab him. I thought that was like a sort of
that was an okay
gag.
joke.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand those like pig villain characters, especially with that one. He was called like something Chungus.
General Chungus.
General Chungus.
Nice.
And he literally says, "I have to unalive you," at a certain point. So like that
That's
TikTok lingo is in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, can we at least have some separation from this like brain rot online stuff? It's like, no.
You know what? I'm all for normalizing TikTok censorship language, because then we're just replacing the real words, and then people will learn that we're just chasing something that we'll never catch. Right? So if unalive becomes the new word for kill, then it's as bad as the word kill, and therefore the word unalive will have to be censored. And then what? Do we just jump onto another one?
This is going to turn me into a serial unaliver.
Do we just jump onto another random other word? I find it so stupid.
It is stupid.
We're just replacing words with other words. They mean the same thing. Why is one worse? I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I think that like at the end of the day, I think this movie is going to be another huge trend, kind of like the Disney remakes. They just had a huge crash and burn moment with Snow White. I know they're stopping developing some other movie because Snow White didn't do well, and I feel like, yeah, all right, if you go on this trend of let's just remake the really big IPs, the really big movies, we got Jungle Book, we got Lion King, all these things. Well, then you start going, okay, well, we're remaking Snow White, like do kids really love Snow White as much?
No.
At this point, and it's like, all right, let's do the video game movies. What are the biggest video games? Mario, Minecraft, awesome. Let's do Fortnite. Okay, then 5 years, 10 years later.
Are we getting a Fortnite movie?
All right.
Roblox, yeah.
Yeah, let's do Roblox. It's just diminishing returns until finally, there's a crisis. And that's Hollywood. I mean, it's all fear-based, decisions. And ultimately, it's just going to be a slow fade into nothingness, into unalivingness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even like part of the marketing was, yo, everybody, Jennifer Coolidge is going to be in this B plot where she has a romance with a villager. Isn't that awesome? It's like, I guess that would be like a funny short, but the way it actually works in the movie is like, it's like a complete non sequitur, pretty much.
It was like 60 seconds of screen time.
Yeah. And actually, that was one other joke I thought was okay, where she's at like a restaurant with a villager. Spoilers, everybody, for the villager B plot in the Minecraft movie, where like the waiter comes over and asked if they're finished, and Jennifer Coolidge says, no, he's Swedish, because obviously Minecraft is Swedish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, there's a nice little joke there for you. But I just kind of like Jennifer Coolidge. I'd rather that be the whole movie, just like Jennifer Coolidge and the villager hanging out for an hour. I'd be okay with that. But I don't know if there was a payoff for that in the end credits, because this is one of those movies.
We might get an entire movie.
Where the second it said directed by whatever, I like shot out of there like a bullet from a gun. But apparently there's a after credits Marvel tease where they tease that Alex, the character Alex, is teased to be there or whatever. The ginger girl from the game.
Who's that?
She's like the player 2 character. Steve's like player 1.
Okay.
Alex is player 2. So whatever that means, I guess a Minecraft movie 2 will have Alex. Hooray!
Nice.
I feel alive. I don't know about you guys.
Is there any Minecraft thing that you like about Minecraft that was not represented in this film? Were you itching to be like,
yes,
damn, like the horse isn't in it or something?
It was more like because the film opens and kind of tricks you. Where I love the Minecraft music, like completely unironically.
Oh hell yeah,
it's amazing.
Same.
And it opens on a Minecraft song, like the theme or whatever, and it's like generating terrain, just like in the game. And then it shows the actual movie, and it does the exact same thing the Mario movie does with the random like pop songs that you've heard in every single type of animated movie like this. And that was kind of a bummer to me because I was imagining like there is something quite deep and cerebral about Minecraft to those that have like played it a lot. Like the song will hit at a certain time when you're just like making your little river or something. Like there is something you could do with that, and that like the laziness of this and like not even attempting to be sincere in any way, where it's like, man, you genuinely could, because it is a phenomenon. Like people love this like this style. It doesn't even capture like the visuals of it like right. There is like a charm to the blockiness, and it could have been a cheaper movie, really. They didn't need to, they didn't need to spend $150 million. Like if they could make the Lego movie for $60 million over a decade ago, like they could have done something, you know? But it's just so lazy.
This is with RTX settings on.
Yeah, it's like the freaky mod, the freaky texture pack.
Yeah.
The horror texture pack, yeah.
So, well, I mean, the whole time I was thinking, like, why are we doing it like this? Like, why this angle? Because you guys know I'm not a gamer, but Minecraft is the only game I actually care about. Like, I played it, you know, when it came out, all that stuff. And I really like Minecraft. And I feel like this movie was just like, it could have been any video game. It just had the Minecraft aesthetics. Like, it just didn't matter. Like, you're pointing out these things that are in Minecraft, but to me, Minecraft was always kind of like there's a melancholy there. There's like a kind of solitude. Like Minecraft can be very stressful, especially for kids, you know, like that first night trying to survive, you know, and there's monsters and all this stuff. Like, yeah, there is that creative element too, but it's like, it could have been like an adventure. It could have been just an animated film about characters in the Minecraft world and incorporate, you know, the aesthetics, but also like the mechanics. Like and also there are so many kids who are going to watch this movie and go like, this is stupid because it doesn't understand how the game works. Like the first night they show up and it becomes nighttime in the Minecraft world, and they're trying to build a shelter, and this kid starts punching a tree and he gets these blocks, you know, the wood blocks. He doesn't even turn them into planks. He just gets like a million wood blocks and builds a fortress. And it's like,
fuck? I'm
like, excuse me, you can't, were you just punching trees for 5 hours while you're being surrounded by zombies? Like, get real. So yeah, I feel like as it just failed on every level.
Yeah, I do kind of agree that I kind of wish that it would be something more up my alley, because with the source material, you can literally make it anything, right? You can make it literally anything. And I agree that there are things that like core and inherent to the Minecraft experience and aesthetic that you could transform into like a really interesting movie, right? The Lego movie managed to do just that. Yes. And the Lego movie was working with Lego, right? What's interesting about that is, even though I could say something like that, I know that there are tons of people that you know, their response might just be like, oh, why would you just want it to be this blah, 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 sort of thing. But we know that it wouldn't matter. It would only matter to us and not to the people that are seeing the Minecraft movie because it says Minecraft in the title, right? Yeah. A Minecraft movie could be a great film. They would still love it, right? But it's just, I don't know, to appease.
They're just happy to see a creeper. They're happy to see a glowstone or whatever. And
also, you both bought tickets to the movie anyway. So.
I'm a Regal Cinemas member, so it didn't matter.
Oh, it was free?
Yeah, I got a membership, so I can just see this crap. Yep.
Yeah, I was worrying about, because a cinema chain in the UK does a similar thing that I'm with, where you can just, you pay like a yearly fee and you can just see whatever you want. I don't understand how that actually affects.
So you both have excuses.
The economics of it, like how they track that, or like what that means. But
it's probably like Spotify or something. Like a portion of your monthly subscription goes to the movies that you actually saw.
Yeah. But then even if, Jake and I didn't see it, I don't think it would make a damn difference with how much money this would make or how big it is.
A drop in the rain never feels responsible for the storm.
Yeah, like boycotting movies like this almost doesn't make sense unless it's some organized thing. Like it makes sense if it's like your local butcher or something, you know, like it's different when it's a global megacorp. Like how are you supposed to change or affect that in any meaningful way?
Yeah, like an average Nazi participating in the Holocaust, like they didn't do the whole thing.
That's what a fitting metaphor for the Minecraft movie. Very appropriate.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Man, I thought for sure they were going to do some shit with the Herobrine. Like, I thought definitely they got to do Herobrine. Like, any Minecraft heads know out there, like, it's like the horror like angle with the... I thought for sure they were going to do something with Jack Black's character where he was like impersonated by the Herobrine or something. It would be like a reveal. But that's like way too many layers for this dumbass movie. Where, like,
that's for the third or fourth movie. You can't get ahead of yourself.
What's a Herobrine?
It was like an in-joke.
Scary guy.
It was like an in-joke type thing that they started adding into the patch notes as like an in-joke. Whenever they'd update Minecraft, the final patch note is always like removed Herobrine. I don't know. There's loads of like
a
Minecraft
guy.
Stuff like that. It's like Steve, but he's got like scary, like white out eyes.
He's got glowing eyes.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like there's like creepypastas and stuff and like videos like I found Herobrine in Minecraft. Lots of YouTube videos like that. Yeah.
But there was many years ago some Nintendo channel like I went on to talk about the Mario movie and like theorizing what the Mario movie might be like a year or two before it came out. And I said something like the worst possible route they could take was humans like being sucked into the game world type thing.
Yeah.
And the Mario movie didn't actually do that, but the Minecraft movie did.
Of course.
And it's just as like generic and like you just couldn't get more generic. Every single cliche. It doesn't have a single trick up its sleeve. Yeah, it really is like exactly on its face what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Or if they got sucked into the game world, why not be animated when they're in the game world?
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, I think that was a pure sort of laziness because they would have to try, you know, like that removes such a like difficult like aspect of we'd have to kind of like the Lego movie solve where how are we going to make these main characters these Lego minifigures that are inherently limited, but they leaned into it where they did the opposite where it's like, well, we'll just have them be humans, like that's just easier, right? And then we have these CG freaky dogs and CG bees or whatever, and nothing matters and none of the like visuals really matter or are cohesive or even really resemble the game. Like they try to make the wolf characters like cute, for example, but I'm like scared of them when they do these close-ups and all the hearts are coming out of them. It's like freaky in that Detective Pikachu way for me.
Uncanny.
Yeah, it's just too much detail and like the entire point and charm of Minecraft is the crude blockiness of it. But yeah, that would be like more of a challenge to adapt, I guess, into an hour 40-minute long film where you've got to like care about the characters and emote through them, but you'd actually have to come up with something for that. But it's just inherently easier to have Jason Momoa and Jack Black kind of prance around and scream. There's a hell of a lot of screaming and Jack Black just kind of singing all the time. Like
he's singing all the time.
Yeah, multiple times he breaks out.
Just like 20-second songs, like very short little jingles, and just like okay. We just let Jack Black have a little song. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't mind that.
Here's a question. How woke was the movie?
I mean, there's women in it, so I mean, very.
Okay.
Yeah. If that's the bar, then extremely woke. I saw some like really depressing clips of like some American screenings of people booing whenever the female characters are on screen.
Oh yeah, I saw
that.
Cheering
when the males are. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with that shit.
Yeah, it seems like the film is attracting a lot of people who aren't really there to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Which makes me not want to experience it in a crowd, really.
Yeah.
Like you're not even here to watch a movie.
Yeah, how do we revitalize movie theaters? Let's bring people in to not really watch a movie. Just like do other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need like a separate screening where you can just laugh and scream and do whatever the fuck you want, and then a dedicated screening just to pay attention, right? There was a really funny. I have the Onion newspaper, like the print version, which is so good.
Nice.
They like mail it to you, and there's a film section in it, and one of the snippets said like, there's a special fan screening version for The Brutalist where everybody gets to shout along to Laszlo Toth's rants about architecture. That's what we need.
Dude.
It'd save movies. Yeah.
They did kind of like sideline those women characters as well. Like, it gets to a point in the movie where they're like sucked into the game world, and it's like, you just go away. This is Jack Black and Jason Momoa's movie for them to compete like against each other as far as who can be the most Jack Black. I don't know. It's just so fucking lazy.
Yeah, they have a little side plot where she's like, the sister was like mean to the brother, like you are bad, you did a bad thing, you know, you screwed up, and then she's like immediately like, oh, I was too mean, and it's just like, and there's another thing where it's like very lazy, like interpersonal conflict of Jason Momoa, you know, but quote unquote betrays the kid, and then he's like, you're a bad person, and then Jason Momoa, you know, maybe I'm getting into spoilers here, but he sacrifices himself for the team,
that's the thing that you would expect.
It redeems him, and then you won't believe this, he comes back at the end of the film last minute to save the day.
Whoa. Because it didn't actually show him die on screen.
He didn't actually show his body being blown into 1,000 pieces.
Exactly. And then you go, what? I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
You came back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally wasn't expecting you to come back, even though you didn't explicitly show me that he died.
But they do that as in a scene where, and I'd actually kind of forgotten about this trope because the big Hollywood movies sort of stopped doing it for a while. The like laser shooting into the sky, and then, and then it going dark, and then all the like minions falling to their death or whatever once the sky laser's taken out or whatever.
Well, that's how you know it's epic.
Yeah,
it was
definitely
epic.
Communicated that it was epic when the golems were flying around punching pigs, and there were lots of YouTuber references. I saw the diamond minecart in there, wearing a cowboy hat at in the earlier part of the film, and a pig with a crown on is a reference, apparently, to a YouTuber who passed away or something.
Technoblade.
So, yep. Yep.
When are we going to get a Neil Breen movie with some YMS and IHE references in it?
You know, it's funny because even though I'm not referenced within his films, I have directly impacted what the films were. After my video came out, like he was in the promotion for his movie after that. He's like, don't worry, there's not going to be any laptops in this movie. I'm like, yeah, that was part of the fun. But he's still making quality films, you know.
You should get a cut of the revenue of his movies. I mean, you're responsible for a lot of his business, I'm sure.
I'm just happy seeing him be successful. My reward is getting to see more Neil Breen films.
There you go.
That's what I want.
Supporting artists. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good.
And speaking of supporting artists, Minecraft movie. You know, everybody go buy a ticket, because we want to let the studios know that this is exactly what they should be doing, right? We want like we've begged for so long for them to just go, okay, big IP, CG nonsense, Jack Black or Chris Pratt. We've begged for this. They're finally doing it. Reward them. Give them your money. Don't see any other movie in theaters this year. See this one twice.
Wreck the theater when you're in it, and like make a mess and disrespect the people that work there. Yeah, that's a must.
Yeah.
This is a win for gamers, the biggest minority in the world. This is for us.
Yeah. Well, if you wreck the theater, then the next screening, which might not be a Minecraft movie, they can't screen that one. So if they're going to screen something like Black Bag, then they have to cancel it.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
but that's a part of the strat.
Fine.
You ruin it for the next one. It's like what do they call it? Penile spines.
What?
It's felines have barbed penises, and supposedly it ruins the for the I don't know some. Don't ask me. I wouldn't know anything about
penile spine.
Animal penises.
I swear, every time we record a podcast, like I feel like you, Adam, bring up some new topic or subject or something that just like sends my brain into like a whirlwind of like
that's good.
Like I just some new thing. I'm just like, that exists. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We all learned something. This is a learning educational podcast. And I learned that a Minecraft movie, despite not seeing it, I think it's a 10 out of 10.
Good.
But I was going back to the reliving my childhood through all these weird ads that were playing before it, like they're just remakes of all the movies I grew up with or whatever. I was thinking, man, when I was a kid, it was like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? In like the early 2000s that I was going to see and people were like genuinely enthused about. And there's a weird New Zealand energy to this film. Like I saw a bunch of it was like shot there for some reason, and there are loads of Kiwi actors in it too. The villain is voiced by Rachel House, who's a Kiwi actor, and Jermaine Clement and Brett McKenzie, the Flight of the Conchords dudes, are in there as well. Just like, okay, cool, nice, a bit of home in there for me. But the oh god. The General Chungus like voice acting was actually I just see in the credits here was done by Jared Hess, the director, and I thought that vocal performance was like so bad, like and it's cringeworthy all the way through, but it was like, this is making me tear my hair out. Like this character in particular is like so irritating to me. Like actually just like worthless. This film.
I feel like there was some Elon Musk energy in here, just like Elon Musk particles of like, do it for the memes, guys.
Oh,
do it for the memes.
I am become meme.
Yeah.
Just things that
like really kind of out
maybe
of touch.
Someone would have said on Reddit like 15 years ago, but has been cringe since.
Yeah.
But you're saying it now. General Chungus does feel like an aged thing to say, you know? It's only been like, 5 years or something? Not even? Since Big Chungus, but it does feel... No, I remember that as being... Actually, no, it might have been longer. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was going to say I remembered it being a pandemic thing, but I actually didn't. I remembered it being referenced in Space Jam: A New Legacy during the pandemic, but by then it was already old. So you're right, it could be.
Which is
could be older.
That's funny you mentioned that film, because that was another one that people were saying similar things of like, can you not just have fun and watch a movie for God's sake? Why do you have to have a problem with this? Just enjoy it.
Why do you have to challenge what I think everybody should feel about this movie?
You guys notice how it's funny? Like, I feel like the term film bro it used to mean like people who loved Tarantino and David Fincher and stuff. And like, that's all they watched. And now people are like, oh, these film bros watching Chantal Ackerman and Claire Denis and all these art films. It's just like, where are, like, so stupid.
It's the same thing that happened to the Bernie bros.
Right.
They saw the threat and they had to make up lies.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you guys give it out of 10? Are you with
Half
me?
star,
10?
easy.
Nice.
I gave
it. There's nothing good about it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. There's no excuse for it being this bad. There's none. Like, these are megacorps. They have all the money. We can't comprehend how much money $150 million is. Like one person on their own, but they're spending it on this, and it's like, where is that going? Where is it going? Because that's not what this film looks. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't look like they spent that kind of money on it. It's like, because you're definitely not paying those animators fairly for all these big action scenes, and like the rest of it is just a small group of actors like just being dangled on green screens for like these action scenes or whatever. It's like this, big cut is Jack Black and Jason Momoa, but nah, it's not on. Fuck this film.
Yep, was you there?
Okay. I almost, when I saw that both of you had seen it, I was so close to watching the work print version. So there's a tortilla of like an unfinished version of the movie, and I thought it would be similar to like the raw cut of kingdom of the planet of the movie. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of skimmed through it, and it was just like some of the blue screen effects are like kind of bad. It looks unfinished, but like finished enough that I don't think I would have gotten much out of it. I was like so excited to just watch that, just be like, oh, finally a version of the Minecraft movie that seems interesting to me. But it wasn't quite there when I skimmed through it.
Some of the shots in the movies like pretty much look that bad anyway.
Yeah.
There's a certain shot where the three male characters it's at the end of an action scene where they're like flying through the air with these jetpack type things. And it's like a close up of them all like clinging together in a bunch on a green screen with it like spinning round, and it's like it looks like Smosh videos from like 2012.
Yeah.
Like it's, you know what I mean?
It really did. Yeah.
A B movie.
A B movie.
You recommended this, a B movie for my B day.
Yeah, true. We've been doing too many good movies, and I wanted to whip out a famous B movie.
Yeah, like Minecraft.
Yeah. I recommended B movie 2007, directed by two legends, Simon J. Smith and Steve Hickner, who one I think directed The Penguins of Madagascar later on, and one who co-directed Prince of Egypt. Quite a little bit of a tonal sort of shift from that. Written by Jerry Seinfeld and a few others, starring Jerry Seinfeld and a few others. This is the story of Barry B. Benson, or whatever he's called, who wants to...
I'm going to unalive myself. I can't believe we haven't even started the discussion. I'm already pissed off. It's just so irritating when you say the name Barry B. Benson.
Barry B. Benson. Yeah, we haven't even got into the puns yet. But not only...
just keep going.
Not only is it... I mean, this... I don't know what it's rated for you guys, but in the UK it's rated U. But this is an animated kids movie.
What does that mean? Can you explain that?
Like U for Universal. That's the lowest rating. It goes U, Universal, PG, parental guidance, 12A, like which you still need adult supervision, then 15, then 18. So it's the lowest rating possible, implying that it's friendly for babies. As we kind of got at earlier, there are a lot of incest jokes and interspecies romance and drug trafficking jokes and drag queen jokes and steroid jokes and suicide pact jokes and all the things you want to be showing to babies.
Yeah, well, British babies.
Yeah. They can handle it.
And yeah, of course, babies love Jerry Seinfeld, babies love courtroom dramas and lawsuits, and babies love Ray Liotta and Goodfellas references and
Larry King.
Larry King.
The rating classification has nothing to do with whether or not they'll enjoy it. Right? It's about whether or not they can handle it.
Can they handle it? But yeah, I guess, man, DreamWorks was just on something during this period. Like they were on a string of like some of the worst shit you've ever seen. Like, actually unbearable films like Shark Tale, The First Madagascar, Over the Hedge, Shrek the Third. Like whatever they were drinking over there was poison in the well. Because I think this is like partially Steven Spielberg's fault. Like he like had lunch with Jerry Seinfeld and they like joked about like this movie idea and we're like, hey, let's get this made for some reason. Jerry, for the record, Seinfeld I think ended in 1998. So even at the time it like wasn't really a relevant pull to, I guess he just has that much star power.
He does.
And I consider Jerry Seinfeld to be one of like the luckiest like people ever, as far as like that show taking off and only being as good as it is because of the people writing it and the cast around him that were Larry the actual David. Funny ones where he just exactly, it's Larry David, it's the cast around him that were kind of holding that show on its back and were the actual funny part, and he's like the least funny part, and his weird sort of observational comedy it's like the most aged part about it. Like I watched a few Seinfeld episodes a few months ago, and they kind of bookended with bits of his stand-up, which is these kind of comatose like observational comedy things, and this film is written in the same way, where it's like, oh, it's all these like B jokes and all these like references, and he's referencing like, hey, what's a TiVo? You can pause TV? That's crazy! And it's like, oh my god, this has dated it so badly.
Yep.
But that's like the whole film, and this film kind of became relevant like 2015, about a decade ago. It got a new lease on life with the internet memeing it, and speaking of like post irony in Minecraft, it was a kind of similar phenomenon.
True.
With like the script of this movie was just like posted all over Facebook, and like the infamous video of like a B movie, but it's sped up every time the word B is mentioned, and it's like 7 minutes long. And yeah, I hope you like B puns and B jokes. Because man, they stretch that thin. You think they do that badly in Shark Tale with the fish puns? You ain't seen nothing. So what do we think of B movie?
Go ahead.
Because you guys hadn't seen it.
Oh, Jake hadn't seen B movie before? Okay, I hadn't seen it.
I saw it as a kid when I was young. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I saw it as a kid when I was young, and I thought I was like, as I think like most kids, I was like, okay, it's kind of like boring, whatever. Like, like there's a lot of references I didn't get, and you just kind of are like, all right, yeah, that was fine. Definitely new perspective now as an adult. I feel a deep pain in my soul. But go ahead, Adam.
If you were curious, it's also rated G in Canada and many other jurisdictions. I just looked it up. Wow. It's just the U.S. is PG. Doesn't really matter.
G for great.
Yeah, G for dope. Yeah, I hate this. There's a reason why I avoided this for so long. Is because even in the post-irony sort of like, oh, we're doing the B-movie script, haha, isn't it funny that this movie's kind of shit? I think I might be allergic to Jerry Seinfeld. Like, I've never liked him. My brother would tape every single fucking Seinfeld episode. He found out, like, oh, it's playing on these different channels. There's, like, fucking 4 episodes playing every day, and he would, like, set the timer to record it or whatever. I was just not into it. And I didn't like hate Seinfeld, the TV show. I was just like, okay, this is kind of boring. B-movie comes out, looks boring, looks unfunny. Characters look disgusting. Animation looks atrocious. What the fuck is this? And then everybody starts memeing on it in like 2015 or whatever. And, I wasn't allergic to those memes, but there was nothing about those memes that made me want to check out the movie. I think I tried maybe like 5 minutes and then just immediately gave up. I was like, okay, I cannot stand this piece of shit. I hate his voice. I hate Jerry Seinfeld's voice. I think that might be why, or partially why I'm allergic to him. There's something very insincere about every performance he's ever given.
He's a terrible actor.
I guess that even translates into his like real life. just the way that he talks. I can't stand it. All the jokes, none of the jokes are funny. None of the jokes are funny. And what pisses me off the most about this is that everybody talks about this film as though it's like, oh, they go so far with the B puns. There's B puns everywhere. They don't even fucking try. They don't even even do what should be obvious, right? So I'm watching the film, and within like seconds, I'm thinking of better puns. So like, they're just saying, we're on B Larry King Live. Larry Sting is right there. Larry Sting, you fucking untalented moron.
They did do Sting.
B Larry King. We're doing B Larry King. Go fuck yourself. I am so pissed off. I hate this.
B Larry King is very lazy.
I hate it.
I'm glad you mentioned those character designs. I don't know what DreamWorks were doing with the humans. Like, the bees aren't good on their own, but I don't know why the humans are so freaky looking in this era of DreamWorks movies.
It's worse than Toy Story 1, which was 13 years before or whatever. Literally the first animated movie.
Yeah, and you can like see the copy and pasted like character models all over the place. Quite an unsettling film all round. And it's just like the laziness of that world building. It's like next level. Like how little they gave a shit. They're like human bees, like they use technology, they wear clothes, they live in houses, and like wear bee Converse and use cameras and like drive cars around. It's like, you don't give a shit about this. And one thing I was picking up on this watch of it, which I found quite odd, and I think it's just from a kind of like just lack of caring overall. I don't think it's like an intentional bit of commentary at all. Because like the first kind of act of the movie is trying to make out like, yeah, you're like worker bees and you're just going to work yourself to death, right? And doesn't that suck for Barry B? And he like goes out on his own and discovers the world and all this. And it's kind of like, but then by the end, it turns out that Barry B kind of causes the apocalypse, but then gets rewarded for it. And then they're like, oh shit, we got to like reverse everything we've done throughout the movie. And we should be worker bees that work ourselves to death. So I don't even really understand what it's saying.
It was almost a critique at capitalism. But then nope. They became capitalists.
And then they undo it.
They like teased it a little. Yeah, in terms of like messaging, there's no point to anything in the movie.
No.
There is no message. Like it seems like 3 different scripts that they fucking jigsawed together.
But they already made Ants. Like DreamWorks made Ants, which is like the same kind of story, except it was Woody Allen.
Yeah, that didn't have Jerry Seinfeld. The selling point of this movie was Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, the less problematic Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
The less problematic.
Yeah. I think, look, the thing is, when I got into watching this movie, and like I wouldn't detect this as a kid, but now having seen Seinfeld and Curb and watching Seinfeld's like stand up, like I will admit, I think Jerry Seinfeld is a genius. I think that he is a brilliant stand-up comedian. He like revolutionized stand-up for his time. Okay. He was on the cusp of a huge wave. He did get super lucky. I think Larry David is the reason Seinfeld's super successful.
Yeah.
I don't like watching Seinfeld because I feel like I have the not watered down version in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and everything that I enjoyed about Seinfeld is like Curb Your Enthusiasm is way better, more fun and loose. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, this is what I liked about Seinfeld. And so watching the B movie, and like from interviews and stuff, like I think Seinfeld is a fascinating person. He is very strange. He's like a robotically obsessed with jokes and just stand-up jokes. And he's very good at that, like the setup punchline. That's all he cares about. And this movie felt like he went, oh, you know how there's like B movies is like a thing? Like, what if we made a B movie, we called it B movie? It was about bees, you know, and it's like an animated movie. And Steven Spielberg is like, that sounds cool. I bet you can come up with a ton of jokes off the top of your head. And he's like, I sure can. In fact, I can make a full movie length of just random jokes about bees and bees doing stuff. I don't know how to make a story or make anything like that, but we'll bring in other writers to do that. And it just felt like him being like, well, how could it be bad because there's jokes? And he'll talk about that in interviews where he's like, you know, if it has good jokes, why would it be bad? If it has a ton of jokes. But it's like
it had no good jokes.
Like 90% of the comedy, quote unquote comedy in this movie is just like verbal jokes and references to pop culture. Yeah. And maybe they're thinking like, well, Shrek has references to pop culture, but it's not like, oh, here's Larry King, here's Ray Liotta. Like, what kid knows who Ray Liotta is? And it's just
so strange, that sequence.
It's so like this is jokes, this is funny, this will appeal to people, but without any understanding of like why people like animated film. Like it is just such a bizarre like artifact of the era of like, okay, how do we make like a popcorn movie? Like on one level, I'm like, you know what? They would never make a movie like this now. Like they know now, like not to do this type of thing. We have it down. The Pixar formula. Like this wouldn't happen anymore, which is, I don't know.
I think that this is a case of it riding so hard on Jerry Seinfeld and him just having so much creative control over what the project ultimately is. Like we've seen this exact same thing happen, I guess, with lower budgets and debatably lower stakes. We've seen this exact same thing happen with like Chris Rock and the Saw franchise, right? Where he just shows up and it's like, oh, this celebrity wants to be a part of what we're doing. Okay, let's listen to him. He clearly knows what he's doing. He doesn't have imposter syndrome, right? Everything that has happened in his career is definitely because of him and him alone, sort of thing.
And Chris Rock was in this film, weirdly.
So you just trust him on everything, right? Even if it doesn't fit with like the full scope or the genre or format that you're doing. Like Jerry Seinfeld, he has been in TV shows. He's probably been in some movies. I don't remember, but like let's let him write this sort of thing. I think there was just too much trust in the process. It was like Jerry Seinfeld was doing a bunch of tariffs, basically.
I understand that more so with Saw Spiral, because it's like, what was that, like $20 million or so? Yeah. Whereas an animated like DreamWorks family film, especially in 2007, that's an expensive affair. Like $150 million in 2007 affair, which I adjusted for inflation is $230 million. So basically like an Avatar film. And that, I was getting mad about like the budget of the Minecraft movie. Like, it doesn't show, it's aged so badly. Like they got these big set pieces of like these Avatar flying scenes. He's flying through New York and there's planes flying around or whatever. And it's like, you spent that and you wasted that technology on this, all on Jerry Seinfeld's name.
He's the biggest name in comedy. In 2007, who was bigger? Dane Cook, maybe. Like, for young people, I guess, right?
No, but just even taking a comedian and doing that and putting that trust in is so just surreal and bizarre to me. And because it didn't exactly pay off either, as far as like returns. They barely made their money back.
Wait, really? I thought this was a success.
No.
I made about 300 million, I think, is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Which I guess is okay. Like, maybe they broke even just about with the selling of DVDs or whatever at the time. But
yeah.
I mean, and one thing that does put it into perspective quite well is that Pixar released Ratatouille this year. Same year as B-Movie.
Oh my God.
That's
insane
great
to think about.
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Which is embarrassing. It's quite frankly embarrassing.
I kept thinking, like, did this movie come out like shortly after Toy Story? 'Cause I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
It feels of an older, like earlier, like animated movie.
Yeah, this was when there was a huge gap between DreamWorks and Pixar that they hadn't quite figured out yet.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it wasn't until like How to Train Your Dragon when people were seriously talking about like them competing in the same space.
Right.
Like, everybody just kind of recognized DreamWorks as being like the Temu version. Whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine how bad your script has to be, or like the entire product has to be, to not get nominated for Best Animated Feature and still be like a notable animated feature that came out that year. I should look up what else was nominated.
I'm sorry, the Ratatouille fact just blew my mind. I'm like, oh, no
Isn't that
way.
disgusting?
It's so crazy.
That film holds up beautifully.
Oh, it's
I watched that a couple years ago.
That's my favorite Pixar film.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it's one of their best films.
And it looks great still. And this movie, it's like, like the outside world is better, but like from the beginning, you're looking at this like bee colony, and it is so gross. It's just the design. Like, why are we making
disgusting.
it look like this?
Yeah, it's one of the ugliest movies ever made. Everybody looks like shit.
Yes, which is like, what, you spent so much on this. Bug's Life looks better, and that must have been like 10 years prior.
So, Ratatouille won the Academy Award. There were only 2 other nominations. So, I don't know if they eventually changed it to 5 as a rule, or if they just decided to leave out B-Movie because they didn't want it there. But Persepolis and Surf's Up, both good films, were the other nominees.
I'm glad it didn't get a nom.
I mean, yeah, it probably shouldn't.
The category, yeah.
Yeah.
It felt to me like the heart of the writing just wasn't suitable for its target audience. So to overcompensate for that, the kind of animators were let loose in a way that is so sort of overstimulating and like over animated, for lack of a better word. They're like slapping each other all the time and just like moving around like crazy. And it's like, oh my God, just calm down. Like,
I mean, I don't know how. I felt like in certain scenes it felt under animated, depending on. So like is it Patrick Warburton who does the Joe Swanson voice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So his character, like, there's an entire scene like right after the fight in the bathroom or whatever, where he's just like yelling at the top of his lungs. He yells a lot.
Every line.
And it doesn't feel reflected or expressed like in the actual animation, like not even in the facial animation, right? where it's like the vocal performance is doing so much more, but like there's something so off in terms of like the synchronicity between those different elements that just keeps them feeling separate, which was really distracting to me and really just like off-putting. It just like I don't know if I'd say that it was like consistently over animated, but it did feel consistently like a different entity.
Yeah. No, I don't know, there are moments where it felt like it was just overdoing that stuff when it was like a simple dialogue scene.
John Goodman, the lawyer character, was like crazy big. Yeah.
Way over the top. Or like even just in that early on scene where they go to get their jobs or whatever, and there's that guy at the desk and he's like just saying about how bees die and it's part of life, whatever, and he's like just shaking around the screen, like flying around all over the place. And it's like just so overstimulating and crazy. And like the slapping thing, that was another thing DreamWorks were obsessed with around this time. Like just, oh, the scene isn't working. How about they just start slapping each other just for no fucking reason? They do that like in the plane scene or earlier on. They're just like slapping each other and just completely random shit to try and stimulate you because nothing's working.
Can we talk about the world building here? Because it is the laziest fucking world building. Like from the first scene, I realized like what was going to be happening, and my heart started to sink. I was like, oh my God, wait a second. It was when the mom says, you can't fly in the house. You got to walk. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? You're bees. You fly and you're like walking and then like immediately I'm like, okay, this is just going to be a big joke. Like none of this is going to make sense. It's just kind of like, all right, about the jokes. And a lot of it's just like verbal humor, and all of the slapstick humor is exactly like slapping over the top stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Then there's a joke where they're like touring the factory or whatever. And there's one guy who's like, yeah, see that guy's job is like a giant finger, and they're like, it has like a tiny dewdrop of honey. And he's like, you know that little drop of honey that always lingers after you pour it? That's so what we do. We're saving honey. And I'm like, I literally rewound it because I'm like, what are they even fucking talking about?
Because it's impossible to pour without the drip. So you need to get the drip. And for some reason, a bee has to be wearing the hat with the finger,
yes.
And it cannot be operated as a mechanism without the bee there, even though they're just standing there and could be replaced by like a 2x4.
It is such an ugly sight gag that makes no sense when you first look at it. Like the only way it makes sense is as a Jerry Seinfeld joke and a thing. You know how when you have that, have honey in that tiny little drop? What if we just all save that and we could have a bunch of extra honey? Like it's just like you could see how he's like, oh yeah, this is a one of those tiny little Seinfeld quirky things that you point out, but it's like in the context of this movie as a visual gag, it's so stupid.
And it's not even worth pointing out. Period. It's not funny. It doesn't elevate anything comedically to just say something like, oh, you know how sometimes, you pour honey? It's got a low viscosity. How about that? Like, fuck you, dude. Like,
yeah,
the viscosity.
What the hell? You can't just observe something and that's the joke. Yeah. That's not a replacement for writing a joke. It's just observing something and that's it.
Which he knows that in his stand-up though, that it would normally, he'll make an observation like that, but it will build into some kind of punchline later on, perhaps.
Are you sure?
And the only one of those I can even think of in this film is the Ray Liotta one. Like that's the only setup and punchline I think in the whole movie, as far as like something that's returned to, like and it's scary. Like it's actually really unsettling and creepy when he's on screen. Like the 2007 DreamWorks version of Ray Liotta, which he does voice and cameo himself. Sting looks creepy as well.
Yep.
It's just very freaky.
I don't understand why Sting would be having to change his name, because you can get stung by things that are not bees or not even sentient, like a sunburn can sting. Mm-hmm. The concept of stinging was not invented by bees.
Guys, can we talk about how horny this movie is? It is so off-putting.
I've seen
the horniest. Well, I know you have, of course, but I think that I think we all have at this point in our lives, but for like a kids movie, for an animated kids movie, like
I've seen hornier kids movies.
Okay, all right. let's move on. But I think that for what it is really off-putting and distracting. I was like, I wouldn't want to show my kid this. Like, it's so like, how am I going to explain like, oh yeah, he's into like this woman and he like thinks she's, and like all the cousin joke, the incest jokes, like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, there'll be a lot you have to explain to a child. Like, really, like, there's like racial humor. There's like that drag queen joke. Steroids are mentioned.
Yeah.
Like the idea of lust and just interspecies romance, like with
concept of lust.
Yeah, like it's like really strange. Like the love triangle at the center of it, with like Patrick Warburton by the end of it, basically like screaming to the air, like, what is happening to my life? Like, this bee has ruined my life.
He is the most relatable
stolen
character.
My girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that line in the movie when she says, why does his life have any less value than yours? And I'm like, you're a horrible fucking person. Telling your partner, this little bee is more valuable to me than your entire life.
Yeah. So like if he had like cancer cells in his body like growing into a tumor, it would be like, what makes you think your life is more valuable than the cancer cells?
Right. Yeah, I think his last line is literally, when will this nightmare end?
I'm with you there. It's so, okay, real quick. The politics in this movie, okay, maybe this isn't a quick topic, but I really think, like we were saying, like it tries to have this like capitalist, like anti-corporate message of like, man, you just are forced to have your job and be like this for the rest of your lives. Doesn't that suck? But then I really think they weren't even thinking like of ideas or ideology or themes. They were just kind of like
relatability.
Well, yeah, if they did like a big workers' strike and they stopped making honey, then like, oh yeah, that'd like wreck the environment and the world would die. And it's like, they weren't putting two and two. Like, there's no thinking about the themes at all. It's just like, oh, at the end of the film, actually, it's good to work. Working in the factory is good. People actually like doing that. And if we stop, the natural order of the world will die. So keep at your fucking Amazon job, you worker bee, because it will literally destroy the planet if you stop working.
It does kind of seem like propaganda, doesn't it?
It's a horrible message, yeah.
But it doesn't even seem like they were trying to. It's just like accidentally, because they aren't even thinking about it.
It doesn't seem intentional at all, yeah.
Yeah.
That's giving it too much credit. Like,
it's weird that they didn't tell the bees that this would happen until after it had already happened. There's like 5 flowers left. They're like, Jerry Seinfeld's just discovering that these are the consequences. Like, you could have told them before it started happening. You could have told them while it was happening. Why'd you wait until like near the end? Jerry's like, oh, this is terrible. I didn't realize. Oh, we got to change this now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some other puns that I immediately thought of better versions. So they call the film is set in New Hive City. How about Beatle? Right?
Ooh.
Easy. Simple. Right?
Simple.
His name's Barry B. Benson. Right? How about Colby? How about you get a female character named Beatrice?
Oh yeah.
Right?
It's not bad.
Right?
No, I think just like adding B to names, just like Joshua B, like I think that's better. That's quicker.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It's painful. Matthew Broderick's mic was peaking for like half the movie. Anytime he got a little loud. Yeah. And it was just his mic too.
Yeah. His voice acting was like horrendous. He's like almost on par with Jerry Seinfeld. Like, Jerry's really bad in this, but I don't know what Broderick was doing too. That character is just so irritating. And some other like weird, kind of inappropriate, like, how do you explain this to a child, lines, like when he stings the John Goodman character and then he's explaining what stinging someone was like. And they basically make a sex joke.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke about like someone killing someone or something. You know, people say weird things a bit after, like, what's it like killing a man?
I don't know. He says it was all adrenaline and then ecstasy.
Yeah, I think that's what people say after they kill someone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, either way, that's cool for children.
Yeah. I wonder if Jerry wanted this to be a more like adult film, and then along the way they were like, well, if we're going to spend this amount of money on the movie, we kind of have to make it accessible to kids, right? Because it's animated.
Have you guys seen the Pop-Tart movie?
Unfrosted.
Yeah, it was fucking horrendous. It was cancer.
Okay. Is there any, because I didn't watch it, do you feel like there's a similarity there between like the tone of this and the Pop-Tart movie?
Did he write that?
Oh, Jerry wrote and directed, the
directed
Pop-Tart movie.
It's like a passion project. Like his two passion projects are the Bee movie, Pop-Tart movie.
Yeah, exactly. Similarity in tone, it's got a different enough tone. I think Unfrosted is the worst film.
Okay.
Somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like its attempts at humor are more way more embarrassing. I think you would agree, actually. Wow. I don't even think you would disagree on that.
I know what I'm recommending.
Is it not more like ironically funny there, at least? Where this like just pisses me off.
It's no more ironic than the Bee movie is in terms of like, you can't just use irony as an excuse to not try also.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I think the irony of the Bee movie has wrapped around to being now unfunny and lame again, because it was such a big meme, and now it's like, if you're making Bee movie, like you're saying, you like jazz like as a joke now, like come on, it's 2025. Like I think we can now see clearly the Bee movie. Like no one's watching the Bee. Like no one's watching those like watching Bee movie. It speeds up every time he says Bee. You know, like
we're done with it.
It's over. It's over.
We're on to My Name Jeff, a more recent and relevant meme.
Not recent one.
Yes, we're on to I'm Steve.
Yeah, the Pop-Tarts movie, most of the jokes were just referencing a brand. Like the naming of a brand was in of itself supposed to be a joke.
Well, that's like this movie, except with like Larry King and pop culture
references. Yeah,
exactly. So that's Jerry Seinfeld's version of comedy.
Nice.
And he's disgusting.
But at least you're looking at real humans. You're right. That like it's not like these creepy animated bees and creepy humans.
It's the ugliest fucking movie ever made. Everybody is just doing a permanent soy jack face, basically. Like, you know, like people on the internet will take a single frame of someone where normally they don't look like the most disgusting human being in the world, but one frame, and then they take that frame and then they mass produce it and they draw different versions of it just to like make fun of that person. That's every single fucking frame in this movie. Every single frame is a fucking soy jack.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting to look at.
Do you guys think maybe this is his most personal artistic expression he's ever done? Because his like the metaphor of the bee and woman relationship is kind of like him dealing with his illicit relationship with a high schooler, you know?
Yeah.
It's like maybe that he's trying to work through something.
Yeah. Well, originally he wanted in the script for her to be like 16 or 17, but then
right.
Maybe not.
Steven Spielberg's like, okay, Jerry, why is she 16? Maybe
it's essential to the plot.
Because it's funny. It's a joke. It's just a joke.
they give that whole thing so much screen time too, and it even comes up in like the court case, and it's like, why the focus on that like relationship with a human to that degree? Because I was thinking about that as far as like the structure of I guess the whole kind of first act. You could take out that whole relationship segment and have him just finding the honey in a department store or whatever, and that wouldn't change or really affect anything. So it's like he really felt that like needed to be a big part of this movie, and it is like the main crux in a way. It's like the main relationship dynamic is a bee and a human.
The structure is a mess.
That's why I have to kind of love it a little bit, because it's like they wouldn't do that today, obviously, and also like, Pixar would have made it if there was like some kind of relationship between the bee and the woman. It'd be like a platonic, like, oh, maybe he has a little crush on her, but it'd be like a friendly, like cute thing. They'd be able to make it kind of cute somehow. And this just goes off the fucking rails instantly. It's like he is horny for this woman,
They should have taken it further. They should have had like a mutant monstrosity bee baby.
Yeah,
right?
like the fly,
the substance,
a BB.
Yeah. A BB.
They should have 8 BBs.
I think we should rewrite and make our own version of the Bee movie. I think that would be quite good, actually.
Yeah,
a horror version.
You get the concept, and then
you've got all these puns sitting around, Adam. I feel like you need to do something with them.
I mean, I'm like, it took me seconds to just think of better ideas. That there's the like mega corporation controlling them all or whatever that they don't really go into too much detail about, but you see the signs everywhere and it says Hunex. Like, oh, we took the word honey and put an X at the end as if it's like, oh, that's like a corporate thing, but the font and the overall aesthetic kind of reminded me of Pfizer. So I thought, like, why not Hivezer or something? I don't know. It's not even good, but it's just like, it's something. It's something that, like, Hunex is nothing. It's nothing. It's not even a joke. It's not even a portion of a joke. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
You're wasting space.
And back on like the laziness of the whole world building, they kind of do that Toy Story thing where it's like, oh, these things can talk, but they're hiding it from the humans. So then there's the whole reveal of Barry speaking to a human and I guess betraying his whole species,
really
jeopardizing the... Yeah, exactly. And there's the like, oh, Renee Zellweger's like pouring her coffee because she's freaking out that a bee is talking to her, and there's all these jokes of people misinterpreting her talking to a bee and stuff, and it's like, what? You lazy assholes.
Yeah.
When you think about it, the Bee Movie and Ratatouille have a lot of similarities in terms of like we're taking this little species and humanizing them and giving them like a culture, and also it's kind of about like humans accepting them and accepting yourself. And like Barry B. Benson is kind of like an outcast. He doesn't want to just fit in, kind of like Remy, like there's a lot of the similarities there. And it's so funny to watch this and then think about Ratatouille and like, wow, they made it. There's so much heart in that and so much like perfect little sweetness in like how that story is told and how they humanize the rat and the human relationship. And like Remy isn't horny for that guy with the hat, like it's, I mean, as far as I know.
Yeah, maybe that's from the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has some rules. They actually gave a shit about like setting up the world that they're setting the story in, instead of like everything just being this pointless board for random references and jokes. And because I just don't understand why they didn't like refine that after that point where it's, I guess have Jerry come in and do this stupid project if you have to. He lays down like the observational humor, and then like people who know how to structure movies come in and then give it a structure. So they didn't even do that. Like,
no, the courtroom scene should have been like a 5-minute gag, not a third of the movie, right? There's like no point. Why would you? What? It didn't feel like any part of the movie was like a focus. It felt like 3 distinct acts that were all kind of like separate, like just barely hanging on to each other, that none of them are significant or meaningful or entertaining.
Yeah, and the whole like in the third act they randomly pull out this tournament of roses. And they like bring it up in the same scene that it becomes important. And so what?
Yeah,
you couldn't have had that like be in the first act somewhere, or like have this loop back on itself in some way. Like you genuinely care that little, where just things like that aren't even considered in any way.
No,
$150 million.
Lazy,
just to reiterate.
Lazy, absolutely fucking lazy. Yeah. So none of the bees throughout the entire history of the world talk to humans, even though they understand the same language and they all speak English. But they didn't do it because it was against the rules. The rules that were there for no reason. Nobody knows why. There was I think it was on the news station or in a newspaper article. There was some sort of news in the B movie universe where someone was Oh yeah, I think it was in the montage of like newspaper clippings going across the screen or something. There was one where it was like, bees are protesting against humans doing bee beards, right? So like, you stop using us as beards or whatever. So I'm like, okay, the bees in this universe are aware of bee beards, but are not aware of the honey industry. Up until Jerry Seinfeld points it out. And this is all a revelation for everyone. And then like even in the courtroom, it's like, you know, they're constructing their argument like, look how you, when you use smoke, it makes them pass out. All of these fucking photographers, the press just come out of nowhere, just immediately getting all these photos like, oh, the bees are passing out from the smoke. I'm like, okay, well, does the FDA not exist in this universe? Like, we have this entire honey industry. They're already using these techniques. Is this a secret? Nobody knew that like you use smoke to calm down bees when you're collecting honey? This is new information for human beings. This is new information for them.
Human beings.
Yeah, that's another theme where when it starts veering into like animal rights sort of activism type things, they're like, oh crap, we're getting a bit too far into there. Let's just veer away from that again and make sure that is not like part of this story in any way. Because they open that Pandora's box towards the end for a throwaway gag in Barry's like law firm, I guess, that he winds up setting up, where there's a cow there. Like talking about how it's like they just see me as meat, and it's like, wait, so every animal can speak English, I guess, in this universe, but they've just been hiding it
and can sue.
Yeah,
and can sue you. Right? It's like, what are you trying to say with this?
It'd be horrifying. Like the implications are horrifying and very much like, wait, hold on. Like the bees, they're just taking their honey. They are mass slaughtering the cows and the chickens. This is why the fuck are the bees complaining?
Yeah, the bees have a pretty good system, you know.
They didn't even know their honey was missing.
Like, okay, legally, here's if I were defending the human perspective in court, I'd be like, obviously, we're collecting the honey as rent because the bees are on our fucking property. You guys aren't paying rent.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
That's the tax.
Right.
We're collecting some honey.
Yeah.
They never acknowledge that argument. They don't care. They don't think.
Thinking like a landlord.
They're not creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a chicken run situation. That like that's the whole point of the movie. And like the parody angle of it being like a prison and that being a prison escape is like part of it. Because they do like veer into these random genre parodies like the law stuff or the there's a random like heist scene for a minute. With the festival thing, the flower festival, or the when he like gets a pen and puts the stuff on his face and sneaks into a warehouse, and it's like a drug bust type parody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just for a second though, like it's not like the point of the film or anything.
I forgot.
Literally for like 1 minute.
I literally closed my eyes when he pulled out the fucking like sword and he started like the sword against the bee stinger thing. I was like, I couldn't respect the movie by like watching it visually during that. I had to just imagine when that part ended.
Couldn't even look.
I was so done.
Yeah, I mean, the movie just takes tonal shifts, like just swings all over the place because, again, it's just set up around doing jokes. It's like Jerry Seinfeld's like, yeah, these are good jokes. Why would they not work in a movie just strung together? Why would that be a problem? You just put a little story there about like the hero's journey and also imply that every animal is, you know, like about to sue the human race now. It's just a really baffling and stupid movie that I get why people turned it into a big meme because like, how else do you react to this after being subjected to it as a kid? You know, like that's ingrained in your consciousness. Yeah. And it's like, this is not acceptable. This is concerning.
Child
that,
abuse.
Yes.
Yeah. This is concerning that this was sent out on a mass scale for children to watch with their parents. And like, I don't know, guys.
And also like their previous bug DreamWorks film Ants was also like a different form of child abuse through like these I don't know if you guys have seen it, like this really intense like war scenes where people are being like decapitated, and it's more like Starship Troopers in that weird film.
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying a Woody Allen movie caused child abuse? What are you on about? What are you implying here?
Oh my god. But yeah, both Bugs Life and Ants basically have the same sort of like story beginnings, like jumping off point for a story, where it's like a colony of some kind, and there's some sort of tyrant above them or whatever, and it's some commentary that at least those films actually explore in some way or delve into that idea, instead of like just throwing out at one of the myriad things they do in this movie and never pay it off or develop in any way. And it is literally just a joke dispenser movie. It is like, you can't even say it's like a Seinfeld stand-up routine, because those have much more of a narrative than this film does.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah, Seinfeld is a character himself. I mean, it is so strange that the movie. I feel like the movie just ends. Like it doesn't really feel like there's a conclusion. It just stops playing,
which is the best episode.
Because it's like, all right, we just had our jokes. Like, I don't know. I think that's all the jokes we can come up with about bees. All right. There's Larry King. What else can you do? I mean, I feel like and then it's just done. And I was kind of shocked when it ended, because I was just like, oh, okay, cool. It's done. I'm free.
It's over.
Maybe I was too harsh on the Minecraft movie, honestly, guys. I feel like, we forget that things like this were being made.
Yeah, there's no IP that it's relying on. It's an original script.
An original script. I mean, we should be supporting original cinema. Yeah. What's wrong with us?
If you look at the IMDb page for this film, the trailer that like auto plays, it's broken. It's like it's like extreme data moshing. Like it's stuttering. I don't know if somebody uploaded that ironically, or if like it's just so old that like IMDb updated and then broke the whatever video, But yeah, it's an entirely the entire thing is like this nightmare fuel visual, like a Death Grips music video or something.
Yes. Oh my god! I thought that was because I was looking at it earlier on IMDb and thought, oh, maybe it's my connection or something. But no, you're right. It's just completely busted. And that is like the ads of this film are quite surreal. Like all the whole advertising campaign leaning on like Jerry Seinfeld dressing up as a bee and being flung around on a crane.
He went to Cannes.
He did?
Yeah, he did that at Cannes.
No way.
I think they might have premiered the movie at Cannes out of competition, actually.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a surreal. Just all of it just doesn't seem like it is real. It's and I'm losing my mind watching this trailer. It's actually really funny. It's funnier than the movie.
I know, right? I think the movie would have been funnier if it was just Jerry Seinfeld in a bee costume and it wasn't animated.
Yes.
Because then, like, the irony would be like more of something that the film itself would be participating in.
Yeah, and then it could just be like the jokes that he wants to do that are just lame bee jokes. You don't need to have all this slapstick. That doesn't really work.
Yeah, then it would have like a resurgence, like Freddy Got Fingered. Yeah.
There's one bit that I liked. I did enjoy this little visual gag of all the bees making the plane fly, and then they're trying to land it, and he's like, go for the flower, and they're like going towards like the flower pattern on this guy's shirt, and just the image of this giant, 747 just like floating around this guy like a bee. I thought maybe there is something here. Maybe there's some
at the end of the movie.
Maybe at the end. Maybe they're maybe I see what they're going for here. Like bees are funny.
It's the spark. Yeah. I kind of felt that way about the mosquito character.
Really?
The Chris Rock.
Yes, the Chris Rock character. Uh-huh.
I think that was probably the best joke in the movie. I was already a blood-sucking parasite. All I needed was a briefcase, with the lawyer thing. It's probably the funniest joke. Chris Rock, of course, coming back later on for Madagascar to get his true shine.
Yep.
So shout out to that.
Thanks. I want to kill every character in this film.
You want to kill them?
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen Madagascar. How does it hold up compared to this?
The first one, it's just as ugly and like disturbing.
Okay.
It's not just as it's less ugly than this film.
Like
Madagascar is
kind
less
of.
ugly.
It's got that like slightly, but it's still like repulsive to look at. I guess there's more of like an art direction going on, which is fully utilized in the second and third to its full potential. But in that first Madagascar, it is rough. That's a rough looking film. But it also similarly has like, it's just a string of like references and just like comedians in a booth sort of ad-libbing kind of feel to it.
I feel like it works better for kids though. Like I remember just seeing these two movies as a kid and being like indifferent towards this one, but after seeing Madagascar, I'm like, yeah, that's fun. You know, I like to move it, you know, like, yeah, that's fun. Like this movie doesn't have that.
It does have a weird American Beauty reference in.
Yeah.
Which I guess, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, man. DreamWorks were just unhinged during this era.
How old is Barry B. Benson supposed to be? He like lives with his parents and he's like just starting to get a job or something.
I guess he's supposed to be just coming out of like college.
'Cause he sounds like Jerry Seinfeld, who is an old man.
Yeah. And Matthew Broderick as well.
Are we doing age gap discourse?
It's not about the gap. I'm just trying to understand what the hell his character is.
Well, neither of them were like trying to sound younger, as far as Matthew Broderick or Jerry. They were kind of just sounding like themselves.
Yeah,
really.
They looked like they seemed like 40-year-old characters or whatever, but then they're learning things and living with their parents, wanting them to move out, and I don't know. It seemed kind of confused.
You never actually see the Queen either.
True.
You don't see a single queen in the movie about bees.
We saw a drag queen.
Saw the drag queen, yeah.
That joke aged.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I realize that like there are tons of interpretably transphobic jokes being made, especially in the like 90s, 2000s or whatever. And I think the metric for which ones age more poorly is just whether or not they're funny. Because in this film, it was just like, okay, well, the joke wasn't funny. There was no joke, so it's just nothing but transphobic. But, you know, there's some stuff in Austin Powers where it's like, okay, we couldn't make that joke today, but it's still kind of funny, you know?
Yeah, it was just literally drag queen. Oh, queen, bees have queens, drag queen.
Yeah.
Like, that's as far as it goes.
But,
yeah.
but at the same time, Jerry Seinfeld took one fucking look at that person and interpreted that they were too masculine to be a real queen.
Mm-hmm.
Based off visuals alone. He didn't even inspect their genitals. He didn't even do the genital check.
Well, that'd be in the Daily Wire version of this could be a Daily Wire movie. Yeah.
You know what my drag queen name is?
What is that?
Rhonda Santis.
Wow. Wow, that's a powerful political statement too.
I think so, yeah. Rhonda
I think
Santis.
you might change people's minds.
I think so.
Yeah. You know, I feel like trans people will tell you that, like they have, you can do plenty of funny trans jokes and there are lots of ways to do that, but coming from like a sense of understanding and, you know, knowing trans people and all that. But yeah, again, most of the jokes of this era are just like, oh wow, gross. You know, like that's it. It's just, that's like gross.
Exactly.
Yeah. You go back another decade or two and it's literally just, you know, gay people. Wow, it's funny that there's a gay person there because that's gross and bad, and we know that that's wrong. Like that's the joke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we spoke about Tokyo Godfathers around Christmas time, and that was 2003, and that like felt like an actual character. And sure, there was a couple of age jokes.
4 years before this,
it still felt like exactly. Yeah, it still felt like a character. Yeah, it's not just like a throwaway gag at the expense. All
right. 2 out of 10. This stinks. It's not as bad as Unfrosted, shockingly enough, right?
Why is it not a 1? What do you like about it?
You don't have to like anything about it for it not to be as bad as something else. It's just not as bad.
I guess, but like I can't think of a single positive to give it anything higher than half star.
Same.
Like the Minecraft.
No, I
movie.
mean, a movie can be devoid of positives and still not be as bad as a 1. It can just have not as it can just be not as irritating or not have as many negatives.
Okay. Well, this is an easy half star for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Nothing redeemable here.
I don't think like I said the Chris Rock like gag, but that's not enough to bring it out like for what else is going on in this in those 90 minutes.
Actually, I know where the point came from. Here's a positive. It's unique. It's unlike any other film.
Exactly.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 10, which is like a rave review.
Yeah.
Because it is like a relic of a time when, let's just let Jerry Seinfeld do whatever and it'll be a huge, huge movie. Even with Unfrosted, they're like, straight to Netflix. It's different, but
Fool me
no,
once.
it's unique. It is very unique. It's like, I feel like I admire it in the way I admire The Phantom Menace, because it's like, there is an unhinged, unwell person behind this film. There is an author to this film, and they're not okay. And let's dive into that, you know? Like, that's what's interesting about it.
No one could control them.
Yeah.
I don't know. This might be a first all half star movie episode for me. Both Minecraft and this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my first 10 and a 2. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. Well, thanks for the recommendation, Alex.
You're welcome.
You deserve everything that your life brings you.
That's ominous.
You deserve what you're getting.
Yeah.
Whatever that might be.
Hell yeah.
It was a good V-Day
Discussion,
discussion
guys.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
It wasn't good.
No, it's, after that discussion, maybe I'll bump it up a few stars. How about that?
Oof.
How could you not love that voice? It makes everything so much funnier. Maybe I'll do the rest of the episode like that. These are the comments and questions from the community.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like tiring to live every day with that voice?
That's how you know he fell upward. Is like that was his takeaway for why he was successful. He's like, well, yeah, people like me doing that voice.
Yeah. And he's a grumpy dude too.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen that show he did, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee? And
Little
whatnot?
bits
Like,
of it, yeah.
He's grumpy, man.
Of course.
He's like a miserable person. And he's got to be like one of the richest people out there.
Yeah, undeservedly rich.
Did you see that? I can't remember when it was. He was going down the like the comedy is illegal type thing, like complaints. Just can't make jokes anymore. Yeah, that was very sort of out of touch. I don't know how you could possibly be in touch if like you make that Seinfeld money in the 90s, you make B-movie, do all this. Like, how do you stay with it? How do you have a perspective that anyone can relate to? You know, you're like a different class of human.
Yeah. Did you know he's a billionaire?
Are you joking?
I'm not joking. 2024, Bloomberg declared Seinfeld a billionaire with a net worth of standing at more than $1 billion, thanks to various syndication deals his sitcom signed. Yeah.
What? Dude. Like, I knew he was loaded, but I didn't think it was like... That's obscene.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I thought you were joking. That's upsetting.
Yeah,
No wonder he's such a grump.
I just want to fact check me saying that also.
Right.
Yeah, according to Forbes, apparently. I'm just going to find him on this list.
Did he like make smart investments or something? I'm just trying to figure out like, because $1 billion is obscene beyond obscene.
Yeah, there he is.
I just think TV is so different now that it's hard to imagine like how much money people were making if you were syndicated. Like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld is on the Forbes list, $1.1 billion. Right next to Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger's a billionaire.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But they're like barely a billionaire. It's like 1.1 billion. So it's only $100 million richer than the cutoff.
Oh, right. Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, they're basically poor.
God. Ugh, I'm going to be sick.
He could fund his own B movie if he wanted to and not even feel it. He could do a B-quel.
Yeah. Tax write-off. Yeah.
Damn. Could you imagine having $1.1 billion and not making the coolest shit ever? What is wrong with you
I know,
people?
it's like, what are you doing with it?
Billionaires are the worst because we don't have great art made by actual artists that are billionaires. Could you imagine?
Yeah, you could like fund everything with the interest alone.
I would love to see Elon Musk's B movie. Yeah.
Oh my God. If I was a billionaire, there would be so much cool art. I'd be making so much cool shit.
That's why you're not.
Exactly.
That's why you're not a billionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, question time. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right, let's do some questions from the Sardonicast community. Head over to the suggestion thread over on the Sardonicast subreddit if you want to leave questions for future episodes, just like 01 Zegaj did. We kind of got at this a little bit earlier, but there was one aspect to it that I think is interesting to bring up. We've got to talk about the chicken jockey trend. Is there ever a time and a place for rowdy screenings or newer movies, or should theatre etiquette always be followed? What do you think about Jared Hess encouraging the behaviour? So I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, he's
interview with
encouraging
him,
it.
talking about how he's thrilled about it. Obviously, because I guess he's rich from this. He's probably got like generational wealth from this bullshit. Yeah, and I don't know. I just can't help but think about the, I guess, minimum wage paid workers that have to clean it up and everything. And I've even seen some chains are having special screenings where like it's allowed to be rowdy and nonsensical. But I'm like, you better be paying those people that are going to clean that up like extra or something. Like, come on. I bet they're not, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good thing to me. It seems like a cheapening and the irony poisoning of it. It's like, man, especially right off the back of like Mickey 17 bombing under WB, and like I know it's like apples and oranges to a certain degree, but I wish like people could get this passionate about storytelling in a sincere way without it having to be 58 layers of irony deep.
Yeah, I mean, like Barbenheimer was, I think, the perfect mixture of like, okay, people were doing this because of the layer of irony, but they were also there to watch the movies. Yeah. Right? They were actually film enthusiasts that wanted to see the movies. They just thought it was funny that they were premiering on the same day and had different genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, more of that.
Yeah.
Why not? People dressed up and everything.
You know, I would feel if I were Jared Hess, I'd probably feel like how I do, or how we all probably do with certain subscribers, you know, or fans who are just a little too enthusiastic and taking the joke a little too far and kind of cringy in the comment section and just kind of being like, yeah, have your fun, but also like knock it off, you know? I feel like, but for him, it's like, what is he going to do? Like Warner Brothers basically brought him along to, again, have this, you know, generational wealth and have this massive success. So like, are you going to be like, no, don't have fun? You know, like, I don't know. Don't see my movie if you're going to be loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's horrible. I really hate this trend of like, let's go just be really noisy and whatever in the theater, because it's like we're redefining like theater going experiences for like the next generation of like, why are theaters valuable? And I like to think it's because you're getting a unique cinematic experience that's different from being at home when you're around all your devices and everything. People in the future might just be like, yeah, we're doing these event stuff where you can interact with the screen, and I don't know. Like, there's a place for that, but I do think it is weird that it is happening for this $1 billion movie.
Yeah, it just feels like so over the top too, because there was that trend a handful of years ago now for another like animated kids movie type thing, the Gentle Minion thing, where people like dressing up in suits and going to see Minions or whatever. But I don't remember people trashing the theaters though. That's a big difference to me. Where it's like
they were gentle.
You need to have some like base level of respect. Yeah, they're being gentle guys, which is fine. Like, it's still like lame, I guess, that it's like something so. You know, it's a fucking Minions movie, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not ruining some worker's day. To clean up the mess, or like the fireworks being let off, or it becomes this like escalation game online where it's like, oh no, I've got to get in on this trend, and I've got to escalate this to the next level, to the point where there are warnings. Like, I've never seen that for a film before, like an actual warning, sellotape to the door saying like, we'll call the police if you take this too far. Like not even exaggerating. It's that's sad to me. That was like, really? Like, when I saw that, it's like, guys, like, we need to stop.
Yeah, who cares? I don't even care.
Yeah.
Fuck everything.
Fuck it all. I mean, when you watch Minecraft and be a movie within a short amount of time, you kind of are just like, yeah, fuck it, or whatever.
It makes nihilists of all of us.
It's always been like this. Nothing's gonna change. What is it?
Well, Pookie Dot says this. How do you guys feel about answering questions every 2 weeks for years on end?
Fuck you.
I mean, this is new for me, so I'm having fun.
Who cares? I don't know. People ask me questions all the time.
I mean, yeah.
It's not even, it's more than every 2 weeks. I stream on Twitch and stuff. People are constantly asking me questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really mind. Doesn't bother me, or I guess just stop doing it. I'm curious what you guys think on this one from Jatef. What are your thoughts on China no longer accepting American films due to tariff conflicts?
Fake news.
Will this be the nail in the coffin for Hollywood?
It's not true.
As the central filmmaking place?
It's misinformation.
It's not true.
No, it's not.
I'm finding it very difficult to keep up what is true about the tariff thing.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Isn't.
Yeah. So that was basically, that's just people reporting someone saying something that isn't even related to like anything official, and then people took it as fact, and then so my understanding is that China has not come out in any sort of official capacity saying that they were considering banning American films.
The reporting was like, they're thinking about doing this.
And then it was just some guy. Some guy was thinking about it.
Yeah. Some guy.
Representing all of China.
Yep. But if that happened, that would fuck up this. How would that even ripple through the industry?
Surely it would like destroy Hollywood, right? Like they structure them around getting this money, but like the Avatar films, like they wouldn't get the returns they're looking forward to, be able to pay for the sequential ones. Like, it would be disastrous, I feel.
Some people were theorizing that it would force Hollywood to make cheaper, smaller movies, because like the model of these massive blockbusters are built on like the global success in like China and all that. So I don't know. I kind of doubt that would happen, though.
Yeah. Well, AKA Benzu says, if you're forced to live in another non-English speaking country, which one would you choose and why?
If I'm forced to live in a non-English speaking country?
Non-English speaking, so you can't just like move to America. Or Jake move to Canada. Or
I can't move to Quebec.
No.
Forced to move to a non-English speaking country. I don't know. See, I have answers of places that I'd like to go, but I've never been there. So it would be strange for me to have like a definitive statement,
like a romanticized idea.
Well, yeah.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah,
I like a lot of Korean directors. I like a lot of things I've seen about, their technology. I love Korean food. but I've never been there. And I also know that there are some like conservative Christian elements of their society and like some political things and cultural things that probably wouldn't gel well with the person I am. So I think all things considered, even though I've never been, I think I'd have to say Germany because everyone there's a pervert and I would fit right in. They're very you look online for some like pony play leather shit, it's all from Germany. Also, they get every Blu-ray. They get every Blu-ray.
They do?
Yeah. All of my hard to find like only released in one country Blu-rays are just German Blu-rays.
That's interesting.
They just buy physical media apparently. Or I don't know why that happens. Yeah, Germany. We're going Germany.
I haven't actually been to Germany yet. I was supposed to. I had tickets to go there, but then COVID happened. I was supposed to go to Berlin. But it's supposed to be fire. Yeah, it's supposed to be cool. I'm more like drawn to like Greece, though. I feel like just a calling there. It like makes my hair nicer when I'm just there, and I can do with that sun and the seafood and the fresh air and everything. That's where I'd kind of gravitate, I think, somewhere like that. And the history too.
Yeah, I'm going North Korea.
Nice.
I like structure, you know. Feel like I would, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't ever be like surprised by anything. You'd have a pretty good idea of what the rest of your life is going to be like.
Yep. There you go. That is my answer.
Damn, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to visit Germany actually. I should do that. I got some friends there, technically, I think. Yeah.
Shout out to the Germans out there. Let's do this one then, from Average Rock Player. Has a movie ever made you feel old? If so, which one?
Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft made me feel old. The Mario movie, when I saw that made me feel old. I think, yeah, just seeing, like, I've been obsessed, and I mentioned it earlier, this, like, nostalgia Frank Zappa quote. He's talking about the cycles getting shorter and shorter, and just in my little blip of a lifetime, seeing that like unfold before my eyes, and it's like we're just stuck in this little nostalgia cycle, and it is making me feel old, like how quickly those cycles seem to be shortening. It's like people talking about they're nostalgic for things that happened like 2 years ago, and it's like, oh my god, can't be doing with that.
I think the only movie that's made me feel old was the one about the beach that makes you turn old. The M. Night movie, Old. I think that made me feel old.
Like it literally started turning you old.
Yeah. Well, because it was so immersive. I felt like I was on that beach.
That was another good, like, ironic movie meme that, like, wasn't annoying, like in the Minecraft movie way.
Yeah.
Where like the joke caught on and it was like, this is actually kind of funny. And like I'm gonna see it and enjoy it for that. Yeah.
I feel like people genuinely like old though. I feel
they
like
do.
It wasn't
they do.
like a whole
We found out about the M. Night fan base.
Stan base.
Yeah. In the same way that like the Snyder fan base, like there's a lot of them out there.
I wouldn't say I'm like a M. Night fan, like mega fan, but I like some of his newer movies. I was fine with Old. I liked Knock at the Cabin quite a bit, and I love Trap. Trap. I think Trap is great. Yeah.
True. Yeah, I forgot you love Trap. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed.
Maybe I'll revisit it one day. But
yeah, I have thoughts.
I mean, I've still like seen all of his modern movies. Like, I think I've seen every one of his movies. So there's something about him that I find compelling.
I support him making more movies.
Yeah. I mean, I like him making movies. I think it's good for in general that it's happening. I like my exposure to M. Night was, I think, honestly, through Adam's videos on like all those older films that I never watched. I just saw them through, After Earth and all that stuff. So like I was like, oh, this guy just makes funny trash, and enjoying that. And then watching like Unbreakable, that's what it's called, right? Unbreakable. And being like, oh wait, he actually makes really good movies as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And then I watched Glass and I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? He's super interesting in that sense of like, he's made genuinely some of the best, worst movies ever. And like, I think The Sixth Sense is like a masterpiece. So yeah.
Fascinating director.
Anyways.
Yeah, there's some directors with range, and then it's like a different kind of range with him. I'm curious what you guys think on this one from Wendolorino. What do you think of the news that Matt Johnson may direct the new Magic the Gathering movie? He's played Magic before. There's a cut scene from the Nirvana band The Show Web where he plays it. It seems like a strange match for his filmmaking style, though. I saw this news. I don't think it's been confirmed at any point.
It is not confirmed, no.
Not confirmed, but I guess there are talks or something echoing around. I don't know, it's not really what I want to see from him as a director, but if maybe he could do something with it. As the kind of commenter said, I don't really see how his style would really complement that specific IP or whatever. But hopefully he'd be able to do something with it. That Dungeons and Dragons movie that like seemed like it was going to be terrible was actually pretty good. So it can be done.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't like just throw it out instantly, but
yeah, I have no idea what it would look like.
That's the thing. Yeah, I'm more just kind of like, what? Curious, if anything, like what the hell that would even be. So I'm not instantly against it, but there is also that fear of just like, don't want to be like chewed up and spit out by the big IP churn.
Yeah, as soon as you become notable, they try to catch you.
Yeah, you managed to skirt around that well with like Blackberry though, which is like, I don't know, there are definitely pitfalls that could have gone into, you know, the like tech movie and the rags to riches like biography thing. Like it was unique enough, that style added to it. So yeah. And I guess speaking on these like corpo films, this one from Lover of Wilderness says, is it possible for a corporate-led film, i.e. a film that is born out of a studio wanting to make money rather than a director wanting to say something, to still be a great film? Are there any corporate-led films that you consider to be fantastic? Or does the fact that these films were born out of a studio first make them automatically worse?
Those two things can exist simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think they almost have to, outside of the most like indie of the indie, you know? But the most obvious ones on their face, like I referenced the Lego movie earlier, that you hear the idea and you picture what the Minecraft movie is, and it somehow managed to skirt around that and be something actually, I would say, great, and like rewatchable and funny. But it's definitely, it's not the average experience with those kind of IP movies. I'm like racking my brain trying to think of other things like that, corporate led, on that level.
On which level?
You know, when you hear it's like, oh, the Minecraft movie, the Monopoly movie, I guess the Barbie movie's kind of one.
Yeah,
Barbie,
exactly. Like you can still go into the project with the ultimate goal of making money, but then hire a director who wants to tell a good story. Like, you can do both, right? Like Barbie broke records, right? So, you know, you would think that the lesson learned for Warner Brothers would be, you know, get talented artists. Maybe they thought Jared Hess was one.
Right.
Have you guys been watching The Studio on Apple?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've watched the ad for it, and I was kind of waiting to see what people were saying, see if it was worth checking out.
I actually really liked it so far. I've only seen the first episode, but it was like... It was surprisingly how like up to date it felt, of like very much like reflecting on the Barbie phenomenon and like, all right, we need our corporate thing. And like a big joke in that first episode was they are trying to make the Kool-Aid movie, but they're like, you know, Seth Rogen's the studio head and he's like, but we want it to be like Barbie. We want to have a voice behind it. And they're like, let's get Martin Scorsese. They're like, we're not going to do that. And Martin Scorsese wants to do a movie about Jonestown, you know, and they're like, well, you know, they drank Kool-Aid in that. So what if we call it Kool-Aid? And they're like, we've got Martin Scorsese doing Kool-Aid, you know? So yeah, anyways, it's very good. But yeah, that kind of thing where now they're like, okay, maybe we let an auteur come in here and take care of monopoly. So I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a better version of, I think it was last year, that show, The Franchise, which was kind of like, I think Sam Mendes directed a couple episodes where it's sort of like a parody of making superhero movies behind the scenes and how kind of cynical that can be. But I don't think it's really landed in the same way.
I think it got canceled.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been renewed for another season or whatever. It's just not been reviewed that well. The word of mouth isn't that good.
Yeah.
But you could, like, I brought up like Lord of the Rings earlier. Like, that is a corporate-led film. Like, they weren't making it like altruistically, you know. But it's like you have to care. You have to have like the dial right, because you need to do it properly. You need like an amount of money, an obscene amount of money.
Find a talented director who's like so obsessed with the IP that they would want to have it done faithfully for their own sake of the movie existing, right? Like, do we believe Jared Hess is like a super fan of Minecraft? And that's why he got the role?
After watching the movie, I'd say no.
Yeah. Like, get someone who loves the experience of what the original is first. Someone who's talented, and then if they're in charge, then those are the best odds. Yeah.
Agreed. It's all about that balance. Should we round off with one more?
We got time for one more.
Send on this one from Mad Skills GH. How often, if ever, do you guys see something in the theaters multiple times? And do you guys ever try to catch a movie when it's re-released in theaters, like a 10th anniversary showing, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I used to before having a baby. Yeah, not anymore.
I will try to see things in theaters multiple times when the theatrical experience is a large part of the enjoyment. So,
yeah,
I watched Hundreds of Beavers in theaters a bunch of times. Every Neil Breen film that gets released in theaters, I will try to catch it as many times as possible. You know, like I'll see the same movie multiple times in theaters.
Yeah, I've done the Breen.
Yeah,
a couple times.
Exactly. When it's the theatrical experience is so important. Death Proof is one of these films. Grindhouse. When Grindhouse came out, I saw that movie like 10 times, 11 times in theaters. Like, I was just so hyped about it. I was young.
Wow, really? Hell yeah.
It was just so, I was just wanted to show it to everybody and just keep experiencing it again.
Yeah. I have a couple times when like the scale or the size of the screen feels like it deserves it. Like I saw Dune a couple times in IMAX, just because I felt like I wanted to absorb that while I could on the biggest screen I could find. I think I saw Mission Impossible Fallout a couple times because I just loved that action and wanted to see it. As just as big as I could.
I love that movie.
Yeah. Or the occasional, I don't know if in the cities near you guys, they do that thing where they have like an orchestra doing the score of a movie live while they're screening it in the
I'd like
back.
to do that. I haven't done that yet.
I've been to a couple of those. They're really cool as well. But it is sort of rare to go multiple times for something that's sort of out now, unless it's something quite spectacular.
Yeah.
I think the last movie or the movie I've seen most in theaters multiple times was Whiplash when that came out. I was like, it was also the perfect age too. I was like about to graduate high school, and it was just like the perfect movie for me at the time. And I'm like, I need to watch this with every person I know, and that's so fun to do. You know, when you're that excited about something.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Matt Johnson, I'll be catching Nirvana the Band, the show, the movie in theaters again, because I enjoyed it very much, and it's a fun theater movie.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
I don't know how you'll be able to, unless you come to 10
I know,
or something.
yeah.
I assume it will be at 10.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about Mission Impossible at all in the past?
Yeah, I've talked about it, and I gave very, I thought reasonable criticisms, and people chat all over me for a long time.
Wait, which movie?
I don't remember any
Fallout.
of them.
It was Fallout.
Fallout?
I remember that because I remember it was you and Ralph v. me. Yeah. Whereas I dig that one.
I need to listen to that episode.
That was one that people got mad about for no reason.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, the action's great. The dialogue and story are not. Those are two halves of the movie. I enjoyed half the movie. That's pretty simple. But people are mad that I didn't value the half of the movie that they also enjoyed the most as 100% of the movie. I'm supposed to consider the entire movie half the movie, and vice versa. Okay, cool.
Okay. I see now how you're completely wrong, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the last one.
They're about to give stunt Oscars.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
In 2026. So the year after the last Mission Impossible film.
They're like, fuck Tom Cruise.
They'll give him an honorary.
Yeah.
They will. Yeah, I'm excited for the new one, honestly, though. I was a little disappointed with MI7, Dead Reckoning. I thought that was it was good, but it was a little unwieldy. It had some story problems for sure.
Yeah, it was quite bloated. But still not bad though. Had some great action in it again. It's a weird franchise that's like almost gotten better as it's gone along. Like peaked for me at Fallout, but like way better than the earlier entries for sure.
I love the De Palma one, but MI2 and 3 are I can't with those.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Yeah.
It actually says 2028 is when they're doing the stunt Oscars. So films released in 2027 will be eligible.
Wow, they need that many years to prepare.
It'll be the 100th Oscars.
Nice. Tom Cruise is at Cannes right now.
He's doing what?
Cannes is going on right now. He's at Cannes. They're showing MI8 at Cannes. Yeah.
I don't think Cannes is going on right now. Usually that's in May, isn't it?
Oh.
Let's see. May 13th to 24th. You're wrong. There's a press conference taking place. That's what you got confused about.
I'm so fucking stupid. Whatever. I quit.
You gotta. Your film cinema license is revoked now.
It's over.
Yeah, but you have one chance at redemption.
Ooh, if I choose to accept.
Yes. So there are many people on the subreddit that are excited for a new Spite era because Alex recommended something that there was no way in hell I was going to have any remotely a good time with. Even before I had seen the movie, the response to the announcement of Alex recommending B movie was like, I guess the Spite era is back, or what did Adam do? And everybody just kind of recognized it as you being mean. But now that we have a third, host, if we continue the Spite era, Jake's catching strays.
Oh fuck! Yeah.
Which could be funny.
I love that you guys have been around so long that you have eras.
We have eras. It's like Taylor Swift. So,
Oh god.
There's two different options here for what can happen.
Okay, great.
There's something that I think we'll all enjoy. That is I think something we've all seen, but would like to talk about and would like to talk about eventually, and we could do. Or there's something that would continue the Spite era and be very funny. But what I'm doing is I'm letting you decide, Jake.
Okay. Well, I feel like the Spite era just it's blooming again. I don't want to shut it down. So, I mean, give me your worst.
Your worst. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Jake. We can both share the responsibility. We're doing the Human Centipede trilogy.
Oh my god!
And
I take it. Can I take it back?
There are no fucking take backsies. And if you want, we can record the episode a week later, since we were doing it early anyway. We can fit in more time. The other one would have been long too. Don't worry.
This is literally like the last thing I would actually. This is actually like genuine spite. Like I don't know how you would know this.
You chose it though.
Have you seen them before?
No,
I've seen all three of these bad boys.
No, I was like, I'm never gonna watch these ever. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, to talk about them on the podcast.
And I'll just watch them with my kid downstairs.
Yeah, please avert the child's eyes from this film. you might create a disturbed adult.
It's too late.
Do not let them near.
He watched the B movie. He's seen worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something beautiful about what just happened.
Cool. I'm hyped.
And sad, but it's fun.
You could put it that way.
It's been a long time. I've forgotten about these movies.
So there's three of them.
There's
right?
3 of them.
Yeah.
They're around 90 minutes each.
Cool.
Tom 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm game. Let's do it.
Sweet. All right. If you don't want to be spoiled for the Human Centipede trilogy, directed by Tom 6, watch them before the next episode comes out.
That's not a real name.
These episodes come out every 2 weeks, but you can listen to them early by going to sardonicast.com and signing up for premium, or go to patreon.com/sardonicast, or hit the members button below on YouTube. These episodes are not only early, but they're ad-free. Do you hate ads? Because you don't have to listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just give us a few bucks a month.
So many convenient ways to give us money.
Yeah.
So many.
You hate ads. We like money. It's win-win. So there's also Sardonicast Highlights channel. You can do that as well.
You can do that.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a happy Shrek 5 or whatever. I don't know.
Have a happy bee.
Happy Minecraft.
Fuck. No, I can't even. I'm done thinking about B-movie. All right.
Have a bee
Bye.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, this is Adam here with an extra outro to give you some updated information. So we're going to be continuing with the Human Centipede trilogy episode, but instead of doing it episode 189, which is the next episode, we're going to save it for episode 190 because we'd all like to talk about Sinners and Warfare, and those are in theaters right now, and we're recording episodes early enough that if we waited until the next one, they might be less relevant or not in theaters. So we figure we'll talk about those. It would be way too much to try and fit into an episode where we're already doing a trilogy recommendation. So we basically, we'll just talk about those. There will be no official recommendation for episode 189, but at the end of the Human Centipede episode, which is now going to be episode 190, Alex and Jake will both get to recommend a film each for the next episode. So we are doing a no recommendations episode, followed by Human Centipede trilogy, followed by a double recommendation episode, just to make up for the fact that we are basically skipping one. So makes more sense this way, we figure. So stay tuned. Thanks. Have a happy whatever the fuck. Thank you. Bye.